Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shop Gossip. Here today is my lovely sister, Latoya. She's here to join me to talk about a few things. One, how has it been growing up with a sister in the beauty profession? And then also, salon etiquette, and also just like some of your funniest moments being in the salon and some of your moments where not so funny being in the salon. I mean, I know that I've been primarily your hairstylist, but you have gone to other people for different things. So one of the questions I have for you today is, I spoke about you in one of the articles that I did when I was interviewed from the York Daily Records. Well, the York Dispatch, I'm sorry. And I said to them that I remember when we were younger and I wanted to practice doing finger waves. And my sister was like, "No, I don't want you touching my hair." And I was like, "You know what? When I become a famous hairstylist, don't ask me to do your hair, right?" And I was actually kind of like put with the task of taking care of her hair from a very early age. And how you used to wear your hair, Toya, with the bang and then the ponytail. I think I kind of got that thing down pat. What would
Yes,
you say?
I would say yes,
Okay.
for sure. Train wow. So,
Yes, yes.
can we go back? I was going
Go
to
ahead.
say, well, first of all, thank you for having
Oh,
me
absolutely.
on
Yes,
your podcast, on your platform.
yes.
I'm excited to be here today.
Thank you. And thank you for actually taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and be with me and sit down and chit chat.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So, um, going back, I'm sorry, was that a question?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You know, I'll be all over the place, but that was a question.
I think that um, over the years, I remember, I can't remember the color, but you had, was it a pink curler that you had got for
Yes.
Christmas?
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I think that's what it was. You were
Okay.
trying to curl my hair.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I told you to get away from me. And that absolutely not, you are not curling my hair.
Oh, I remember
And
those
you
curls.
definitely reminded me that when you become a famous hairstylist, that I was going to live to regret that.
Yes, yes.
So, yes.
I totally forgot about those pink curlers. I remember one day I was upstairs in my aunt's room. She's the one who actually bought me those curlers for Christmas. And I was trying to curl a bang. I wanted a bang so bad, and my mother wouldn't let me get a bang. And I was upstairs, and I went and I pulled my hair down. I think I did cut a bang. I think I did. I cut a bang, and I curled my hair, and I burnt my forehead. So I had to take the bang, and I had to lay it down so nobody would see it. But I think that from there on, I mean, they probably saw it in me all along.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because if I can recall, even in your teenage years, when you were a shampoo assistant or
Yes.
a shampoo girl,
Shampoo girl, that's what we call it in there.
in your teenage years, I can recall some of your friends coming over to Dad's house
Yes.
to get their hair styled.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's definitely something. It's interesting to see what it has evolved into today.
Yes.
You being a hairstylist, but it's been in you all along, for
Right.
sure.
And it's just one of them things that sometimes, even though it's in you and it's something natural, you kind of like shy away from it because you feel like it's something else out there for you. Like for me, I was like, you know what? I don't, like I said before previously, no, I want to be a nurse. I want to be able to take care of people. I want to
Go to
be,
school and get some
go
stability.
to school and get some stability. You know, I don't want to have to worry about, am I going to make this amount of money to cover these bills for this month or different things like that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, who really wants to be in that position of not knowing and the uncertainty, especially with entrepreneurship?
Oh, for sure.
And I just wanted to have some type of stability in my life. So,
Yeah, I feel like being a hairstylist today is a lifestyle.
oh yes,
So back then, I feel like when you were going through nursing school.
Mhm.
I feel like it was more like a career choice,
Mhm. Mhm.
something alternative to college.
Do you remember when I told you about me? I was wanting to explore that and going into the beauty profession.
I do vaguely. I do remember. I remember that you were working with a. How do I say? Is it a private client? You had a private client at that time
What, in
when you
nursing?
were considering you were here,
Oh, I was here.
and you had a private patient,
Yes. Yes.
and that is around the time that you had considered going to hair school.
Yes. Yes.
And I can remember saying go for it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did. Yes,
for sure.
I think my sister actually was one of the first people that I told that it was something that I was thinking about really doing. Because at that time when I moved up from Baltimore,
Mhm.
I was uncertain of what direction I wanted to go, and I knew that nursing was no longer for me. I kind of felt, and kudos to those who are in the medical field, because it is definitely something that you have to have a love for, just as well
Yes.
as it is hair. I think any
Mhm.
profession you have to have a love for it. But I think for me, I was feeling burned out. I wanted to still be able to take care of people just in a different way.
Mhm.
And now that I felt like I had that stability in my life, I was able to come back home and do some of the things that I enjoy doing, and that's hair. So my sister, I don't want to put her on the spot, but she is like talented in so many ways. I'm telling
I
you,
thought
this
you were
girl.
going to say I was like a VIP client.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But my sister is so talented, and I mean, she is like a human encyclopedia.
Not it, psycho.
I know. I feel that way. I mean, I feel like I can kind of just like go to her and ask her about anything. But it's to a point where sometimes I think that she forgets that I'm the one with the cosmetology license.
She has a valid point.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I remember times where, you would try to tell me how to do this and how to do that. And I'm like, look, do you want this flat on so you can curl your own hair?
Mhm.
And then that's kind of how I would get her.
And I feel like I still do at times, and it's not because I don't trust her. It's
Right.
just because I am that comfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that she probably is the only one
Mhm.
who can, and sometimes like when I'm combing her hair a certain way, she's like, oh, do you do that to your clients?
Exactly. I feel like I'm an advocate. I'm a client advocate first and foremost, because
Yeah.
I'm going to say the things to my
me,
sister that
that my
her
clients
clients
won't
won't say.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
she
And I'm
kind of
like,
heavy on her hands
and
sometimes.
I'm like, well, dang, I wonder, do I be hurting my
Yeah.
clients and they don't say no?
She got them nails on scratching when you shampooing, and
No, don't come for my shampoo now.
I'm coming for your shampoo.
Oh,
But
that is
yeah,
so
I mean,
funny.
it feels good in the end having a clean scalp, but it took a little beating to get there.
You
I'm
know,
just
some
gonna be
people
honest.
just like it different ways.
True that.
You
Everybody
know,
do
but
have their
my,
preference.
my clients like it rough.
Okay, all right. No smooth sailing
no
there. Huh?
smooth sailing over here. We gonna
Okay.
get this, and they be like, scratch that scalp.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they be like, get into it, girl.
Yes.
Yes. So that's so funny.
Yes.
But
So client advocate. I think from now on, that's probably
that's your,
that's my new
that's,
title.
that's your title. You know what? I think that's
client advocate.
absolutely.
Yes.
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 Mhm.
And I'm a guinea pig at times too.
Oh my goodness.
And since we were
yes.
younger, she's always been able to, experiment and try things
I
on
had.
me.
Oh my goodness. I remember when I was in beauty school. Remember I gave you that bang?
Well, let me just tell you how she is, period.
Oh, what?
I remember coming to her specifically with a style that I wanted.
Uh-huh.
And she got offended because I showed her a picture of exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
I don't need that. Who you think you showing a picture to? I don't need that. I remember it was when we were preparing for a trip.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm telling
And
you.
while my hair turned out lovely,
Yes.
it was not quite the look. It was the look that she remembered in her head.
Yeah.
So that is the disadvantage that a lot of times, when I'm telling her what I want,
Mhm.
you give me what
I give you what I want.
you feel I deserve.
That's right.
No.
Or how about, oh my goodness, I'ma even throw my little Maddie in there for a second.
Yeah.
Man, oh, I remember my sister. Listen, again, I'm really not trying to come for you, but my baby really don't know how to do hair, y'all. No. And let me tell you, even so, she has a daughter, and I remember every morning her daughter would come in the room, and she would have her box with her ballies and be like, Aunt Shell, I need my hair fixed for school. I'm like, I'm great teach my sister how to do hair. It's either she don't want to learn or she's just gotten so comfortable with me doing this that she is not even fooling with it.
No. It is honestly the latter. No, it's neither.
Neither.
It's neither.
Okay.
So when I first found out I was having a girl, well, when I had my daughter, I was a little concerned for that reason.
Yes.
Because I had no idea how to do hair and what to do with hair. You would think, I mean, obviously I was happy that she was here, she was healthy.
Yes.
But then I'm also looking at the reality is I have a daughter and I have no idea how to do hair.
Right.
And so, yes, I leaned on everybody. It was you and at the time it was my stepmom.
Yes.
To help me on a regular basis style my daughter's hair.
And we did. And we did just that. Like they say, it takes a village.
Yeah, and then my sister here ended up moving out or getting in a relationship. And so there would be nights
I ghosted them.
Yeah, there would be mornings that I would be left, kind of hung out there. And so I had to learn. And it's funny because my daughter was going to daycare at the time, well, kind of like preschool. And her teacher would say, I could tell that somebody different was doing her hair because her parts were crooked. And so, honestly, it's not that I never wanted to learn. Right. It was just that I feel like God really gives us all different gifts.
Yes.
And hair is really not my gift.
And that's okay. And I believe that that's one of the beauties in having a sister. I mean, who better? You know what I'm saying? Like,
agreed.
I mean, she could call me, listen, when I tell y'all, she is VIP.
VIP.
Say it one more time.
VIP.
Oh,
Very, very.
Very, very important. And listen, and she makes that very known, okay? Especially when I was just starting out. I remember this girl, I would see that gray car I'm like, no, she didn't just pull up. I got clients in here. Michelle, I just need a curl. You don't remember how you would just pull up on me?
Listen, at the time I was selling real estate, and as we all know, you got to present yourself. And fortunately,
Of course, my clients were so blessed.
They felt bad for me.
They felt bad for, and they would just let us slide on in and get a quick curl or two. And I know that so many other beauty professions can relate when it comes to having family members. When you are in this profession, a lot of times, to be honest, they feel like we are at their beck and call. and it's nothing. And I honestly, I love it. I mean, for real, for me, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love being able to give you something that you can't do for yourself, because you help me with so many things. So I feel like it just goes hand in hand. To be honest with you, I mean, she's my best friend, so it's like. I'm honored to be able to do that for her and her daughter. I mean, it really doesn't bother me at all. I'll do it. That. Yeah, absolutely. So, we talked about a little bit about that. So I know you had a situation not too long ago with making an appointment with a stylist. I wanted to talk about a little bit of salon etiquette, especially from a client's perspective. When you book the appointment with the stylist, and a lot of stylists now, they do deposits, and I have nothing against deposits. I don't do deposits because I have a pretty loyal clientele base. I rarely have any no-shows. I'm not saying that it never happened, but it has happened to me before. Matter of fact, it just happened this weekend, to be honest with you. And of course, it was a new client. But for the most part, I don't have that issue. And I know that when you did your deposit, and of course, there are rules and guidelines that come with that when you book the appointment. And from my understanding, You want to go ahead and elaborate on the story a little bit?
So, okay, first, I guess I'm okay with the deposit and everything
Right,
as well.
absolutely.
But I do feel like it's a difference. I feel like you have clients and you have customers.
Right.
And because I feel like a lot of times, most stylists today, it's more transactional based.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't, there's in no shade, because there are stylists such as yourself who
Mm-hmm.
have clientele.
Yes.
And you have relationships
Yes.
with your clients. But there are those who, they may have, it's a recurring thing. So they don't necessarily build relationships. You come, you book a service, they provide the service, you pay for the service, and it's done. There's no follow-up.
Right.
They don't even know the next time they're going to see you, and honestly, I don't even know if they care.
Right.
So what happened was the appointment was booked.
Mm-hmm.
Was happy for that, just because it was on a little bit of short notice for us, but just happy that there was a slot available.
Mm-hmm.
And so we arrived at the appointment, and we live a little bit of distance, at least an hour and a half drive from the appointment. So we arrived at the appointment, not wanting to be too early, but maybe about 15, 20 minutes early.
Right.
And so at that time, I'm sorry, this appointment was for my daughter. She was getting braids done. And so when we arrived, my daughter at that point realized that she had received a text.
Mm-hmm.
And the text said something to the degree of, not verbatim, but I'm running late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good morning, I'm running late. My ETA is, I want to say the appointment was 9:30.
Okay.
My ETA is 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Does that still work for you?
Right.
Now, a few things wrong with that. One, I appreciate the text. I mean, she did communicate.
Right.
However, it was, again, maybe about 15, 20 minutes before.
Right.
And does that still work for you? Now, I know that a lot of times, people may, I mean, we didn't anticipate spending an entire day down there either, well, at the appointment. So for whatever reason, I kind of got a little bit offended by that. Does that still work for you? Because I felt like it has no choice
Right.
but to work,
absolutely.
because you have to prepare for the appointment. At this point, she already took her style out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has an afro at this point.
Yeah.
Like, she's prepared for the appointment.
Right.
So if we, were anal enough and decided that, no, this is not going to work, which that was not an option.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you something real quick.
Mhm.
So, in her clause, is it anything that states, like, let's say if you said that didn't work for you, are you still required to pay the full amount? I mean, I don't know what that looks like. Or you don't
Well, it
remember.
does not address her being late.
Okay.
So there's no real accountability for the stylist being late.
Okay.
It's just more so accountability for the client.
Right.
So should the client decide that they're going to be 10 minutes late, the appointment was, I think it was 10 or 15 minutes. The
Mhm.
appointment would be automatically canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, I don't know if it runs hand in hand, but I know that if you cancel less than 24 hours notice,
Right.
that you will be charged half the service.
Okay.
And we're talking a few $100s.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cancel the same day, then within that 24-hour window, or if you did a no call, no show, then you would be charged for the entire service.
Okay.
And all of that, again, I don't have a problem with,
And-
because I feel like it gives the clients, I can imagine why.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, a lot of times clients will play in your book. So you have to kind of set those rules and guidelines,
So that people
because
can respect it.
they can respect that. But I mean, from a stylist standpoint, like, how are they held accountable?
So it goes on. So, long story short, 10 o'clock came and went.
Right. Right.
Came and went. No stylist in sight. So 2 young ladies did pull beside us. They were in the same car. And honestly, I had only seen the person who was doing my daughter's hair one time.
Yeah.
So she looked like her, and I thought that was her.
Right.
They opened up the salon, so clearly, they worked there. She didn't greet us or anything. She didn't acknowledge us, which, okay, whatever.
Right.
But I just assumed it was her. So I told my daughter, I said, well, give her a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
to kind of go in, probably turn the lights on and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't just go following behind her.
Right.
And so she did. And so Maddie ended up getting out of the car a few minutes later. So she went in. At this point, she's sitting down. She was directed to the chair. So at this point, my husband was with me. We were dropping my daughter off, and we were going to like hang out for a little bit and run some errands while she was at the appointment. So we were pulling out. I had asked my daughter, is she okay? And she said, yeah, I'm okay. So we were pulling out. We ended up driving off. We got maybe about 2 blocks down the street before my daughter texted me and said, she's not here yet. So I was like, well, she's not here yet. So neither one of the girls was hurt.
Right.
And so next thing you know, I think the girl who was doing her hair, well, the young lady who was doing her hair, did not arrive for at least an hour after the scheduled appointment. So the appointment was at 9:30. She got there, I believe it was around 10:30 at that point.
Okay.
My daughter did say that she acknowledged that she had run late and that she thanked her for her patience.
Oh, well, that was nice.
It was nice, but it's still unprofessional, and I'm reasonable. I just feel like life happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes, there are reasons that you run late.
Yeah.
But because my daughter had been to her once before and she was late for that one, that appointment, I feel like it's a recurring issue.
Right.
So I wasn't as graceful, I should say.
Yes.
Now, did I confront the young lady? No, I just decided that after this appointment, I don't care how good of a job she does, I just don't want to go back to her because I feel like she does not value anybody's time.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think that one of my guests before said if you treat it like a business, it's a business, and you have to treat it accordingly. You know, if it's a business, his words were, if it's a business, it's a business. So you have to treat it that way. And I think that in my early years too, I wasn't very punctual, so I can relate to that, but I also acknowledge my clients and different things like that. But I think that also comes with growth, and it comes with time, and it also comes with maturity, and really seeing it as such, as a business. And I think that even with customer service, people have really gotten away from what true customer service really looks like. And you find that even in your, just not in the beauty profession, but you find it in your local grocery stores, when you go out to the mall and different things like that. So I just think as a whole, we got to be better with that. You know?
That, and you teach people how to treat you.
Absolutely.
So if you are repeatedly late as a stylist,
yes,
then your clients start to feel like, oh, she better not
yes,
have an issue.
yes.
If I'm running late.
Right, absolutely.
And so it becomes like a back and forth.
Yes, and
so I think all in all, it's just so unprofessional.
And especially those clients who have lives and they have things to do. They don't want to just sit in the salon all day. And I think that as professionals, we have to remember that. Yes, we're here all day, but they don't want. If they book, excuse me, but if they book an appointment for 10 o'clock, they want to be serviced.
Agreed.
Even if you are running maybe like 15 minutes behind, and there's times that they may have come in and I might be stuck on a style or something like that, and they may have to wait maybe like 15, 20 minutes for me. Is it right? No, but they do get it because we are in a salon, and things do happen.
Well, you're not a robot, so I think that's more like giving grace.
Yes.
But to me, what is rude is you just showing up to say your first appointment excessively late.
Yeah.
And from there, you know what I mean? It kind of trickles.
It trickles down. It throws your whole book off when that happens. Because if she has somebody after her, 9 times out of 10, she was late for that next person. So it is very important that we try to remain professional in that. I think that, we have all these high expectations and these standards for our clients. But in the same token, I believe that we also have to be held accountable for our tardiness and different things like that, or not showing up or not calling, because at that point it starts to affect your book. So you do want to be mindful, especially if you're in the business of, you're in the beginning of jumping into this industry. Please be mindful of that. That you want to make sure that you carry yourself in a professional manner. That you're always communicating with your clientele. You're letting them know what's going on. I'm not saying you gotta run down your life history to them. But if you're running a few minutes late, let them know. But also, as you want them to give you grace, you have to be also willing to give the same. That's what I think.
Agreed. Agreed. But I think there would be a lot less instance of being late
Yeah.
if only stylists would start showing up before the client comes.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Like if the appointment is for 9:30, maybe you say to yourself, like, I need to be
8:45
at the salon
or
by
8
8:30.
or 8:30. Yes.
That way you can decompress. You can prepare yourself for the
Mhm,
client.
mhm,
You know, whatever. You can kind of set the mood
Yes.
in your establishment.
Yes.
I think it just goes a long way.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. I like that.
Hmm.
So, what are some? Again, I know you have had uh, some different experiences outside of me, but even, let's say, even with me and being, because I pretty much been here, there, everywhere, bounced all around. But what are some bad hair experiences you think you've ever encountered? Has there ever been one?
Bad hair experience?
Yeah.
Okay, elaborate.
So, like, have you ever gone to the salon and you've gotten something that you didn't absolutely? I mean, I know you talked about it with me earlier, but had that one took place or that you absolutely hated your hair?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, and you did not ask for that. Did you ever have that
Several
happen?
times.
Really?
Several times.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep it short.
Okay.
But I can remember being in high school. It was the day before my 12th grade year.
Yeah.
And I went and got my hair done.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like a recurring thing. I was not a regular client, but
Right.
I knew this particular stylist well, because he had been a friend of my mom's.
Mm-hmm.
And so got my hair done. It was an all-day process. Had to go with him to the hair store. So, long story short, he kind of just told me just trust him and let him work his magic.
Right.
So I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to me, he was gonna, hook me up with some color, which it was like a two-tone, darker on the top, my natural hair color on the top, and he bleached the bottom of my hair.
So
And so he ended up putting a bright orange on the bottom half of my hair that he had bleached. And so when he combed, again, this was an all-day process. I was tired. But when I was sitting in his chair, and that's back in the day when y'all used to sit us under the dryer with a wrap
Yes.
for it to dry.
Yes.
And so he was combing the wrap down, and I saw my hair was bright orange. And then to add, insult further, what am I trying to say? To add further insult to the injury,
Yeah, that part.
he pulled out his clippers and started like clipping around. He gave me a bob. So none of this I had
he
asked
gave
for.
you the blunt bob before the blunt bob.
Yes, he
was a
did.
thing.
Yes, he did. None of this I had asked for. My mother was completely pissed off when I got home and she saw my hair. And remind you, this was the day before the first day of school, and I have neon orange hair in a bob.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but today that is like,
Oh, I mean, it kind of grew onto me, if I can be honest.
yes.
He did a good job, and it grew onto me. So that particular style, I
But it
ended
was-
up embracing.
but it was a shock.
It was
The
a
initial-
shock, to say the least. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then I had another experience where I had just moved to Pennsylvania, and I was used to get my hair styled by a girl in Baltimore, and I kind of asked for the same style, and stylist told me he was going to hook me up. And again, I just have I don't know, maybe I need trust issues. But he told me he was going to hook me up, and he did. He ended up, again, wrapping me around. But
in that wrap.
this time he used like saran wrap, which I thought was cool. But before he put the saran wrap on, he greased my scalp. And so I was a little concerned at that point, because He greased my scalp.
Right.
And put me under the dryer with saran wrap.
Right.
So needless to say, hair was extremely greasy. Couldn't do anything with it. He sent me right on out the door. Told me to work it. I was devastated because I was like, what am I going to do? Like, this is not okay.
I remember getting that phone call from you because you were here before I was.
Yes.
And I was like, what? He put grease on your scalp?
Yes, yes, yes. And my third experience, which was traumatic, is when I was taking, I had a sew-in, and the sew-in was removed. And ladies, you know, once you're taking a sew-in out, you have braids, and the braids need to be combed thoroughly. And my lovely sister here at the time had
an assistant.
And she was such a sweetheart. But
let me tell you.
She failed to comb my hair out after I took down the braids from the sew-in.
And let's just say that I'm so sad that I was so sorry that had happened to my sister. You know, under my watch. But I'm so grateful, for real, that wasn't another client. Like, that could have gone so many different ways. When I tell you the level of irritation that I had with this young lady, because I trained her not to do that, and she knew better. But I think that she was trying to skip that process because she was already tired from taking out the sewing. And when I tell you, I was devastated.
So needless to say, we skipped the step where we combed it out thoroughly. If you're taking out a sew-in, especially one that's been left in, I'm guilty of few weeks, months. You have a lot of dead hair.
Yeah.
That needs to be combed out.
Right.
And so the hair never got combed out. She put me straight at the shampoo bowl, wet my hair. I didn't know any better, honestly, because again, I don't do my own hair.
And at this time, the salon that I was working at, the styling room was separate from the shampoo space.
Yes.
So I was in a totally different room. So when she called me, she was like, Michelle, something.
She knew something was wrong.
Something's not right. I'm trying to. And I went back there and I looked at her and I was like, you didn't comb her hair?
So my hair.
No, you did not. I went out, oh my. You know, that right there was such a teachable moment even for me as a hairstylist. And I'm telling you, she had to count her days. Let's just say that. Because let me tell you something. Again, had that been anybody else, that would not have ended so well.
So my hair had completely locked.
Yes, completely. I mean, a dreadlock.
Yes, it locked, and conditioner, like tons of conditioner,
Girl,
would not
Can
even.
I tell you, every time I think about that, that was such a horror for me.
Yes.
That every time I think about that, like, it does something to me.
Yes.
But thank God.
It was me. And so, honestly, at that point, my hair was locked. We tried for hours, it felt like, to try and unlock it.
And her hair was growing.
At this point, I honestly had to get my hair cut, like, and it was not like an ideal cut.
Right.
It was like we're going to save what we can cut.
Right.
Because some of it was just locked and there was no saving it.
Right.
So I had different lengths of hair, and my hair is already, would you say it's kind of fine? I guess it's not the thickest hair.
Yeah.
And so I already had different lengths. Yeah. And so I had different lengths, and it was traumatizing for me because yeah, my head was sore, and I'm extremely bald headed. And so I had to go to work.
Oh my God. That right there.
So I was so self-conscious. I was so self-conscious because my hair was just a mess. So how did we fix that? Ended up getting a new sew-in. So that was actually a good thing because it helped.
It did. But thank God she was a person who already wore weaves anyway. You know, so she didn't really wear her natural hair out too much. But it's still just the point of having to go through an experience like that, which again was traumatizing for all of us. It taught me so much. And I can't say it again. If I say it 1,000 times, I'm say it.
It was. It
I'm
was a
glad
learning
it was
experience.
her, not nobody else.
Yeah.
Not that
agree.
I'm glad it happened to her. I didn't
No.
want it to happen to nobody, but that was definitely, even for me, like I said, one of my probably worst moments in the salon. And you will have them. Don't think that you, as a stylist, you won't have moments that you are like, what just happened, or what did I just do,
Mhm.
or like, okay, how can I fix this? What I need to do, how I need to do it. You got to go back to the basics.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful even for my mentor, because there are times that I may get stuck. I've gotten stuck on things, and I'm like, okay, I gotta call Erica because I need to figure out X, Y, and Z. And so that's another thing. Make sure that when you're getting into this industry, that you connect with someone who you can relate to and who you can pull from. And that way, if you ever get in a pinch, and even if you're in a salon setting, I know a lot of people, once they get out of hair school, they kind of venture off on their own and get salon suites and different things like that. And if that's something that you choose to do, that's fine. But make sure that you are also connected to a mentor, somebody who can help you, somebody who can give you the ropes on what it is that you need to do.
And honestly, it makes sitting here made me think about not to isolate you,
Yeah.
because just to add to your point,
Yeah.
I did have another experience with a different young lady. Listen, I don't chair hop, y'all.
No,
This was
she
over
don't.
a course of time,
No.
a period of time.
Uh-huh.
But a similar incident. No, I didn't have a sew-in at the time, but I had, I wanted a black rinse, and I think I had bleach in my hair.
Okay.
And so, my stylist, it was a separate shampoo room, and her assistant.
Can I stop you right there?
Okay.
See, this is where we have to know, especially when we are hiring assistants. A lot of times we get comfortable with them, because we're like, okay, you got this, you've done this 1,000 times before, and you trust them to do their job. But I think that it's also important for us to have them sit down. One, the I feel like, as a stylist, you should be welcoming your client first. Like, your client should be the first person that you see. Like, the first person that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should be you that they see. And that way you're doing a consultation with them. So then you then go to the assistant and you say, okay, this person is getting this, and this is what we're going to do on her today. And then, if you trust her, you should already trust her enough, because, I mean, she's your assistant. So then you let her go ahead and do what it is that she needs to do. But I think that as stylists, we can't put so much on them.
Yes, because just say that I left there with green hair. Just say that. I'll just
Right.
end it there.
And her being an assistant,
I had green hair.
And to me, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that assistant should have been mixing up that color, because maybe she's not even in hair school. Maybe she wasn't even qualified or trained to be able to do that.
And I really can't remember. I can remember my stylist being upset. I don't know if it was something she felt like her assistant should have known better, or she should have consulted with her first. I'm not sure. All I know is I knew something was going wrong, and then as a result, I ended up with green hair, and that was the hair that I left the salon with.
Let's just say she was not under my care when that happened.
So yeah, I want y'all to know that the trauma can, it happens. Things happen. And so I just wanted to prove the point that things happen.
And I'm sure there are clients out here who have some horror stories, and I'm sure there are also some stylists out here who have some stories, but again, I guess now we're going to circle back into even just being here in this establishment. Like, I always want to make my clients feel welcome, and I feel like that is very important for me to, because, again, it's not just about hair, it's about so many other things. You are a part of their everyday. And I know you have been able to witness that with me, and you've actually been a part of this journey with me, just like I had my husband on here last week, and I spoke to him about a few things, and he has also been at the forefront of a lot of the different things that I've experienced in this. So when you see that, how do you feel? as far as seeing me in this different phase. Like you seen me go through so many different phases with being in the beauty industry. So to see now things coming around,
Stability.
yeah,
Yeah. Stability.
right,
Because I have witnessed you kind of bounce around from different salons, and each time you left a salon, it was, for a reason.
right,
And oftentimes never negative,
mhm,
but just for various things that would happen.
Yeah.
Because people, run their businesses and things happen in business.
mhm,
But yes, stability is the first word that comes, and then now you have the opportunity to create your own environment.
yeah,
And I felt like, oftentimes with the other salons, the other establishments, you kind of walked into that, and so you didn't have an opportunity to create your own ambiance.
Remember when the last incident before I got this location, and I was like, well, it's another salon and they're hiring, and I think I'm just gonna go down there. And you like, Michelle, how about you just doing your own thing? And I think that I was just so afraid to get back into that because I had gone through so much with the one project that I had, and I wasn't able to open the doors, and it kind of discouraged me. So I will say that she was definitely the push behind me getting into this location. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows me personally,
Yes, she will push you.
I will
okay?
always tell you to go for it,
Oh,
because
yes.
what's the worst that can happen? It won't work
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, but you tried, and then from there you can kind of pivot and move forward. So, but if you never try, you'll never know.
But I think that I honestly am so blessed to have such a wonderful support system. I'm so grateful that I can lean on, not just my sister or my husband, my cousin, Malik, who has been definitely a help even in this podcast. So shout out to Malik, shout out to Donis. I mean, I really appreciate these guys for even taking the time. So you got to give people their flowers when they're here.
Agreed.
So I just want to take that moment and just really say that. And I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And again, I'm happy that you all have tuned in to listen to Shop Gossip. I hope that I was able to help you all. I hope we shared a couple laughs since we went down memory lane a little bit, which is always fun. And I'm hoping that you hearing my sister's story, and it will help you to be able to better service your clients.
The client advocate stories.
Yes, yes. Because listen, we might have to give you a title for real. Listen,
Seriously.
sign her up for client advocate. 'Cause let me tell you
I'm going
something.
to tell you all the things that your clients won't say.
And
They
and
don't want to burn no bridges.
No,
they don't
'cause they
want
just
to
want
ruffle no feathers, step on no toes. I'm going to let you know. It's how we grow.
It is how we grow, and I think that
Yeah.
taking constructive criticism definitely helps you to be able to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or call it feedback.
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 But it's feedback, but it's also constructive criticism. I mean, however you look at it, it is what it is. So, again, I'd like to thank you for tuning into Shop Gossip.
And thanks for having me.
Yes, I hope that we was able to spill. So I hope that y'all caught some of them that tea that we was spilling around here. All right, until next time, that is it, and that is all.